All right, in the essence of time, obviously we have a guest speaker with us today, Sean Reddy. I know him as Coach Sean Reddy, coaches girls basketball here at Ponagansett. But he is a distinguished forensics guy. He was a long time, and he'll go over his background. He's a Providence firefighter for a lot of years. Then became an Arson investigator. The forensic side of the science side of investigating fires. He does have a service dog with him, and he'll do a little demonstration for us. So, Sean, good morning. Thanks for coming. This is period 2. This is a criminal justice class, and we're ready to hear your thoughts on being an Arson fire investigator.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and your class. What do we got? Sophomores to seniors here? I know Genevieve's a junior. Freshman? That's awesome. It's a great class.
Yeah, we have, it's mostly, how many freshmen? Yeah, it's a lot of freshmen. Sophomores, we got a couple, then a couple of juniors, and I don't think there's any seniors in this class.
What speakers have you had so far regarding some type of law enforcement?
We've had Chief Del Prete come in for search warrants.
Good man.
Vin Manzalo's coming in. We had to back him up. We've had a couple of attorneys come in from Roger Williams University too and explain some.
Phil Ferrell been here?
No.
Okay. All right, good. So, students, my name is Sean Reddy. I'm a retired Providence firefighter. My career started as a firefighter on the trucks. I was on the heavy rescue unit for 20 years. So that basically meant I was cutting people out of vehicles, people trapped in house fires. That was my responsibility. And I did that for 20 years. Then the Commissioner of Public Safety, who was a retired state trooper, approached me and said, would you take over our Arson unit? And I'll explain to you what all that means. But basically, the Arson unit investigates fires. All right? We're looking for the cause of the fire, and I'll go into more detail. And basically what that involved in, I was 46 years old, I had to go to a police academy. And I'm like, Mr. Parrott, I'm not going to police academy. I'm 46 years old. I'm going to be wrestling against 20-year-old abandoned women. I said, I'm too old for that. He goes, don't worry, we'll take care of you. And 6 months later, I graduated from the Providence Police Academy. They gave me a gun, and they said, go arrest people for lighting fires. I'm like, oh, my goodness, I wouldn't know where to begin. I knew how to put fires out, but I didn't know how they started, and I didn't know how to arrest people. So basically, I kind of learned on my own with the resources of, you're going to meet Mr. Manzalillo here in a few weeks, hopefully. He's the best in the business. His knowledge Mike pales in comparison to his. He's got a wealth of knowledge, so make sure you listen to everything he said. But what I want to make sure you do is I want to make sure you find this interesting, because the last thing you want to do is hear a 60-year-old man talk about fires. So what I'm going to let you see first is kind of one of the first things that I was exposed to on the fire side, and I think you'll find it pretty cool. I'll show you a couple of all my cases that I prosecuted on with the U.S. Attorney's Office or the Rhode Island Attorney General's Office. They've all been done. They've all been resolved, and so I can reveal you what went on in the cases. I won't tell you any names of the suspects, because God forbid you might know somebody, and I don't want to embarrass anybody. Okay? So this is a fire. Obviously, you can see it's on Laurel Hill Avenue. I received this video while I was going to investigate this fire. On this day, we had multiple alarm fires in the city of Providence. One we had at Providence College, and I'll show you some photos of that. And then this one is on the Silver Lake side of the city. All right, it's a very congested neighborhood. It's changed quite a bit. The houses are extremely close together. And what I want you to watch is this gentleman is on his cell phone. Please don't do this, and he's videotaping while he drives. I know Genevieve does that, but I prefer she knocks that off. Now Genevieve plays basketball, so Genevieve will be the brunt of my humor. I will be asking you questions. You can feel free to ask me anytime you want a question. But I'm going to ask you a question, so I always feel you learn that way, and also makes you pay attention. Because if you don't know the answer, it's going to be a little awkward. So, all right, guys? So hold on. It's going to be a good ride. So again, this is a Silver Lake area. This gentleman's driving his vehicle right now, as you can see. He knows that he's going to a fire right now. All right. It's a pretty intense fire. You can see the neighborhood. It's very congested. It's kind of worn down. And this is before the fire department even gets there. All right. So we got multiple vehicles on fire, and he's going to drive around to the front. Both of these houses become fully involved in fire. It's going to be the middle house, obviously. You're gonna see police officers, they're helping people escape from this house closest to you, 115 there. He stops, he's a brave man, this young gentleman. See the police getting people out of the house.
Who is this person driving the car?
I don't know, I don't recall his name, but he unsolicited gave me that video.
So he's
See that gentleman? Oh, where'd he go? See this guy right there? Just remember him. Right? So now my job as the arson investigator is to figure out what happened. The biggest concern for me is, was that intentionally set? All right, so naturally people come running up to me and they're blaming people all over the place. The owner did it, the tenant did it, they're mad at each other. So my job is to kind of sift through all that noise and figure out what really happened. All right? So this is video surveillance of the house next door. Now in Providence, everybody has video cameras. Everybody has them. Some obviously for good reason. This is the parking lot right next door. Watch up in here. See, this is the back of the house where the fire originated. This is the videos where you saw all those vehicles on fire. So people are blaming the owner. They're blaming the tenants that did it because they're mad. The owner to get the tenants out. Or they're blaming it's a vehicle fire. So they're blaming these vehicles that for causing the fire. So again, watch over here. We're looking for a white, I think it's in this slide here. We're looking for a white vehicle to pull in there. See that gentleman right there? Now again, remember he's the gentleman I said keep an eye on him in the front. Okay. Notice what he's doing. See, and I'll ask you if anyone picks up on what he's doing when he walks away from his vehicle. You guys can talk amongst yourselves if you got an idea. So that's actually the owner's two sons. Again, keep an eye on that white vehicle. This poor woman's driving their vehicle out of the way. I think she pulls the vehicle out of it. But again, you guys can see that arrow. Genevieve, can you see that arrow? You don't see that arrow? Yeah, see it up in the top left? I want to expedite this. Oh, hold on. Okay, so again, we're going to watch right over here. See where the trash is. See this gentleman over there by the tree? Try and see what he's doing as he walks towards the tree. Now again, they blame the owner and the tenant and the vehicles for the cause of the fire. See what he's doing. Can anyone pick out on what he's doing right now? What's he doing right now? Anybody see what you just did? Do we need to go back? Did anybody see it? Watch his hand. Who just said that? Good job. Good. He's got a cigarette in his hand. Okay, so he's smoking. Cigarette needs two things. It needs time and insulation to cause a fire. Time and insulation. Insulation be thrown on the leaves, and the cushion of your couch, and the cushion of your vehicle. Okay? So yes, he was smoking. Okay? Did you already go up to? Okay, so watch. Watch this top corner, guys, top left on the screen. You see a little puff of smoke come out? See the smoke come out of his mouth? Then he goes to his mouth, he's smoking. Okay? So again, now I'm the arson investigator. I'm supposed to determine what caused this fire. Alright? So now, ideally, as the arson investigator, yeah, you want to make arrests. Mike will tell you, people do something wrong, you want to hold them accountable, right? But the worst thing I can do is lock up an innocent man, which I have done, and I'll tell you that story. Genevieve, if you remind me, I'll tell you that story. I think I did tell you at the beginning. Remind me and I'll tell you the story. All right? So, again, everyone's telling me the house was intentionally set. We got to lock this guy up. It's the tenants, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Back up a little bit. Again, right in this area, guys, you'll see the whiffs of smoke. Again, they're blaming someone did the fire. They intentionally set the house on fire. See the smoke by the tree? Look, guys. Did the car cause the fire? Did the vehicle cause the fire? But they want to blame the vehicle, right? Everyone's blaming the vehicle. Because this gentleman had just worked on this vehicle. All right? Again, is the smoke on this side of us or the furthest side on the fence?
Other side of the fence.
Good, right, guys? So we all agree there, right? Do we still think it's a house fire?
No.
Do we still think it's a vehicle fire? Good. I'll speed it up. Smoke's increasing. Smoke's increasing. This poor gentleman pulls his vehicle up. He has no idea what he's in for. Smoke's increasing, and we're off to the races.
What's happening?
My initial thought would be gas, but if it was gas, it must have been fluid somewhere in the vehicle, just water. Because obviously that's gasoline, now it's going to extend. And you can see because of the wind that day, it got into the alleyway between the two houses, and then it destroyed two houses. So it was like 14 families that were out of their house. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm faced with. All right. So what we'll do is, I'm just going to quick PowerPoint so you know exactly what I do, and then I'll show you some really cool cases. You guys. So guys, that's my responsibility, okay? Why do you investigate a fire, all right? So I started on the public side, all right? My job was to determine if someone has actually intentionally set a fire in the city of Providence. I probably averaged 40 intentionally set fires a year. I had a high, usually the conviction rate on an arson is between 2 and 7%. Michael will tell you, that's awful. You know what I mean? I think, but the reason that the conviction rate is so low, it's such a difficult crime to prove. Why would you think arson is a hard crime to prove? What happens at a fire? What happens to the evidence? What happens to the evidence? You got a friend, you want to ask a friend for help? Yeah. Evidence gets burned, right guys? So that's a hard crime, right? I set this table on fire with gasoline, unless I got you-know-who with me, and I'll explain his job. Unless I got you-know-who with me, how do I know if to use gas if it all gets consumed, right? Okay? If you start a fire, there's electrical sitting there, an outlet over there in the corner, how do I know it's not an electrical fire, or did someone intentionally set that fire? All right? So it's very difficult. That's why the conviction rate is so low. So my job is, when I was on the public side, is to determine responsibility. I'm on the private side now, so I work for insurance companies. They call me up and ask me to investigate fires for them. Now I'm trying to determine, is that TV camera, is that projector up there, is there a manufacturing defect that will cause a fire and make your school unsafe? So that's my main concern now. On the public side, did someone intentionally do it? We got to hold them accountable. God forbid we got a student in here who's going to burn, likes to burn stuff, and it happens. We got to hold them accountable because your school should be one of the safest places you can come to. That's why you get coaches, teachers like Mr. Clenda, Mr. Martinelli. They're part of making your school extremely safe, and that's how it should be. Okay, guys? We want to reduce property loss. If there's something we can prevent, that's part of my job, okay? Prevent deaths. I've probably had about a half dozen people who died at fires losses that I've investigated. I've had 2 people die in my arms when I was on the job, okay? So we want to prevent that, and then fraud, all right? I'm mad at you. I'm not going to make my house payments anymore, so what do? I burn my house down, right? And collect on the insurance, right? So that's a big thing. And I won't bog you down. We'll try to keep moving, okay? What is fire? You would be shocked how many fire investigators, how many firefighters have no idea what the definition of fire is. Okay? When I ask them that, most of them say, oh, well, it's hot, it burns, I don't want to touch it. But most of them know that's the definition of fire. All right? Think of rust. It's the same thing as rust, but it's expedited that much faster. All right? Structure fires, I'm supposed to classify them. The cause of a fire is accidental. Give me an example of an accidental fire.
Me?
Right here, my friend. Accidental fire. Take a guess. Can't be wrong. Accidental.
Kitchen stove blows up.
Good job. Good. Someone give me an intentionally set fire. Give me an example of an intentionally set fire.
Like setting fire to a house, like.
Perfect. Good. Undetermined. I'll show you an undetermined fire. There are some fires, guys, there is so much fire damage, I have no idea where it started. There's no witnesses. There's no burn patterns. There's no fire dynamics. I'll be honest with you, at the end of my investigation, I don't know what caused it. How about a natural fire, Genevieve? A natural fire. Think of something that could naturally happen. Lightning, perfect, right? Hurricanes cause them, right? Earthquakes. So those are how we classify the 4 causes of a fire. All right? Try to make yourself at home.
Sean, will you be able to share this PowerPoint with me?
Yes. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. I'll leave it. We can leave it right here on the computer. Arson, a crime of maliciously and intentionally or recklessly starting a fire or causing a fire. All right. You're going to light a fire with the purpose of destroying somebody's property, whether it be your own or someone else's. Okay. That's arson. Okay. It's a capital crime in the state of Rhode Island. It's the same thing as if you committed murder or rape. We can lock you up for the life if you intentionally burn someone's property.
Arson, serious charge.
Yep. We'll skip that. There are 7 degrees of arson in the state of Rhode Island. There they are. The big one is the 1st degree. If you intentionally set up property that's been occupied in the last 6 months, we're going to charge you with 1st degree arson, and you're going to get locked up. Okay. Then there's other ones: vacant house, defraud the insurance company, stuff like that. I won't bog you down with that.
Occupied building, Sean.
Yep.
That just means somebody's living there. Doesn't mean they're in the house.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. In other words, this gentleman leaves to go to school in the morning, and when he leaves, you burn his house, even though he wasn't there. That's 1st degree arson. God forbid. I know that's not going to happen, but that's an example of it. Okay. Or even if him and his family moved out 3 weeks ago, it was occupied within the last 6 months. We're going to charge you with 1st degree arson. You're going to get locked up. You're going to get locked up for a minimum of 6 months until we have a grand jury. We have to have a grand jury within that 6-month period. And what happens with a grand jury? They always say, you can indict a ham sandwich, which is true. So I'll go in there to be people just like you, anywhere between 15 and 24 people, and I'll explain to them, just like EMU, what happened on a fire. They're all sitting there amazed. Wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. And then they say they indict you to get a true bill, and then you're indicted. Now you stay in jail until we go to trial. And the last thing you want to do is go to trial at an arson investigation, because most people don't understand it. And the minute I get up there, they're cooked, because I've been doing this a long time. That's probably a pretty good analogy, arson and cooked. Yes.
So the degrees of arson don't really depend on if anyone's going to get it.
No. It's more property driven. That's a great question now. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Now, obviously, if you kill somebody doing arson, now you get an arson charge and you get a homicide murder conviction. I had an arson fire because I like to tell stories about my career because I think it's pretty interesting. We had a gentleman, he was a serial killer and a serial arsonist. Yeah? He goes up on the east side, Silver Lake again, Mike, unfortunately. He goes in there to this gentleman, they had a friendship. He owed him money. He ends up cutting the gentleman's throat, and then he proceeds to burn the apartment he was living in. And I'll show you a picture. All right? It's not too graphic. If it makes you uncomfortable, you can just turn your back, but it's not too uncomfortable. But that's what he did. We ended up finding he did multiple homicides and he did multiple fires. He got locked up obviously for life in Massachusetts, and he's got a life sentence in Rhode Island if we were ever to get out, which obviously he won't. Although you never know. Okay, reasons for arson. Why would someone light a fire? Give me a juvenile action, because you raised your hand.
Juvenile action. A kid setting a fire?
Yeah, just a juvenile. A lot of times a juvenile is curiosity. Like they find fire interesting. A lot of people do. Do you have a question on top of that? Yeah, you raised your hand. Okay, yep. Riots or civil disorder? Young lady drinking right there with the green water bottle? Give me an example of riot or civil disorder that you've seen. A riot or a civil disorder?
Disturbance.
Have you seen one on TV? No? Okay. Baltimore, when they had the police issue there, a lot of people started breaking the CVS's and they were stealing stuff and then they burn them, okay? That you see that. Spite revenge is the second most common one I had. Right there with the maroon. Give me an example of spite revenge. Something that's happened in your life, think about spite revenge. Very common in a high school relationship.
Somebody
Even
did
just
something to
friendship.
you.
Perfect, right? Yep. You two guys, I know I'm going to pick on you because you're in the front. You two guys are dating, and she dumps you, which is probably going to happen, right? Spite revenge, right? What are you going to do? You're going to get back at them somehow. So that happens a lot, all right? You see that a lot with regards to arson. Give me an example of fraud, the man in the red who's not entertained by my conversation.
Fraud is like faking.
Give me an example. I talked about it earlier, you own a house.
Oh, like
Do you own a vehicle?
oh, if you like, I do not own a vehicle.
Think about a vehicle in Arson. What would you do to commit fraud? I'm going to engage you right now. I'm not leaving until you give me an answer, even if it's wrong. The silence waiting for the answer takes a long. It seems like it's a long time, but it's not.
I don't know. I can't think.
Think of fraud. I want to get rid of my vehicle.
Yeah.
What do?
Oh, burn it.
Burn it. Good job, right? Insurance fraud. Then you tell the insurance company, hey, yeah, I was driving down the street, all of a sudden smoke came out of my glove box.
That's why our insurance rates are off the charts.
Correct. Right? So what does the insurance company do? They hire a guy like me. I'll go interview him. I'll go look at his vehicle, and I'll go back to him and say, you're not telling the truth. Tell me what happened. All right? But he's already in trouble because he filed an insurance claim. So he's already in trouble. He should have done that. All right, guys? So that's good. Good job. That was a good answer. And then obviously vandalism. I want to destroy somebody's property. What shocked me when I got on this side, when I arrived here in the Arson unit, was we got detectives at Michael Taylor. They're investigating homicides, and there's really no footprint. There's nothing to follow when they do a homicide. Right? On the fire side, it's a systematic approach. It's called the scientific method. Have you guys had that at all? Oh, you have? Awesome. Okay? There's 7 steps to the scientific method, okay? I have to follow them. I've testified probably 40, I have it in my CV. What's my CV? Does anyone know? You know what your resume is? Same idea. It's a curriculum vitae. It's the same thing, okay? It goes into a little more detail about what you've done as a career, whatever you want. I think I've testified like 48 times in trials. Right? A lot of those were initially with grand juries on the federal side and the state side. If you don't follow these steps, I will get thrown out of court. There are 2 types of witnesses when you go to testify. There's a fact witness. What would be a fact? Does anyone know what a fact witness is? Someone who testifies the fact. Genevieve, give me an example of you testifying the fact of something that happened at practice. A fact. No, say that again? No, what do you say about doctor?
Like, if someone died and they have to, like, look at the body and tell them about it.
Okay, that's the other witness. That's an opinion. That doctor is giving their opinion. That's great. So you got one step back. How about a fact?
It's like there's real evidence of it.
A fact, correct. I walk across the street and I walk up to this man and I punch him in the nose. You testify in court. I saw Mr. Reddy punch that young man right in the nose. That's a fact. That's something you witnessed. Now, as an opinion, the doctor would come in and say, he suffered a broken nose because of the blunt force trauma placed upon him by Mr. Reddy. All right? So, anyone can be a fact witness. To give an opinion, you have to be qualified as an expert. Okay? I have to go through that, and I have to go through what a Dolbert challenge is. Anyone have you done Dolbert challenge yet?
No.
You're going to get that. You have to go through a Dolbert challenge. So what's going to happen is the defense attorney is going to go through about I should have brought it with me. It was probably 4 inches thick, 8 by 11 pages, and you keep asking all these questions. And you just sit there and he's pulverizing you, and there's no way you can know all those answers. But they ask you all these questions. The judge will determine, Mr. Reddy is well versed. You come in. Mr. Reddy is well versed in being a fire investigator. We'll let him give his opinion. So in other words, this gentleman couldn't walk into court and give an opinion on fire investigations because he doesn't have the qualifications. Okay? Okay. So, guys, just real quick, recognize the need. Okay, obviously they've called me to a fire scene. That's why I'm there. Define the problem. What's the problem? Why am I there? Fine. Good job. Collect data. Give me something of data when I would collect at a fire scene. Yeah, give me an example of data.
Firework.
No, well, it could be. Yeah. Something I would do at a fire scene to find out what happened. I'm collecting.
Evidence,
Good job. Evidence. Give me an example of evidence. Good job. Excellent answer. Good job. Analyze the data. Right. I look at it. Is this possible? Could my glass have caused a fire? Genevieve, could they have caused a fire?
Yes.
How?
With the light when it goes through the lenses.
Mr. Kalinda, give her an A+. Did anyone else know that? My glasses can cause a fire. Good job, guys. Good. When I first came on the fire department, this old firefighter named Tom Crowley, outstanding young man. He was older than me back then. I was a young man. He said, Sean, I had a fire once. The guy had his magnifying glass on his table. The sun went through the window, burned a hole, and caused a fire. Tom, yeah, okay, I believe that. So true. All right? Good job. So now, I analyze the data. I develop an hypothesis. What is an hypothesis?
Educated guess.
Yeah, that's all it is, right? That's all that is. Does it make sense? Does what I'm putting together make sense? I have to test it to make sure it makes sense. If I say that this could spontaneously combust, that can't happen. This table can't just catch fire on its own. So I have to develop that, right? I test my hypothesis. What's a cognitive test? I know you guys, what's a cognitive test you can do? Something you do where? Cognitive.
Isn't that like with the brain?
Yeah, perfect, brother, right? Just do that. I don't have to be Albert Einstein to figure out this is not going to spontaneously combust. So that's a test, I think, because they're going to ask you in court, Mr. Reddy, what test did you do? And then I select my hypothesis. So I have to do these at every fire. So you can see why Michael tell you, policemen, when you say, hey, listen, I need help at a fire scene, they're I'm all set. I'm out of there. First of all, they don't want to get dirty, because Michael tell you, they wear suits to work. This is how I went to work. And then I still go this way. And then when I go in the fire, I put a Tyvek suit on. And then when I take it off, I'm spotless again. But my Tyvek suit is filthy. So nobody wants to do fire scenes unless you don't mind getting dirty. All right, so keep that in mind when you're doing a fire loss. All right? And if you want to become a fire investigator, and if you like law enforcement, but you don't want to be like the bad guy all the time, because Mike will tell you, being a police officer, 50% of the time when you're arriving at the scene, somebody already hates you. Right? Because you two guys are fighting, I woke up, there's already somebody mad at you before you even get there. Everyone loves firefighters, so become a fire investigator, get the best of both worlds. You go to University of New Haven or Western Kentucky, you can get a degree in fire science. All right, so keep that in mind. All right? Okay. Todd Willingham. Todd Willingham unfortunately died because a fire investigator did not use the scientific method. All right? So research that case. It's a great case, all right? And it really changed the fire investigation world, all right? It really made people wake up. What happened in the old days when I got on the fire department? Joe Dorsey, Joe Dorsey is a local guy, right? What happened? The fire investigation unit. You were on the job 100 years.
You got that job.
And you hung around long enough. You said, "Hey, I think I'm going to become the fire investigator." And what would happen is, the old guy would walk into court and lock you up. And he'd tell the judge, I've been on the job 1,000 years, I've seen 2,000 fires, and you know how this started, Your Honor? Because they lit a match and she burned her couch and it burned the house down and she killed her kids. And they were locking guys up for that. Some old time would spew some wise tale that was not true, that was not based in science, and they were locking people up. Same thing happened here in Texas, all right? It didn't happen until after he was already passed, he was put to death, that they realized that the old fire investigator was dead wrong. He had said that he'd used gasoline and it killed his family. He never did, right? But unfortunately, back then we didn't know any better. But what happened is it created this 921, NFPA 920. If you get a chance, you want to look at that. It'll really explain fire investigations. But it was, unfortunately, he died. But unfortunately, people woke up saying, we can't just let old guys go in there and tell wise tales about fires. So it worked out pretty good. Am I going too slow, Mike?
No, it's going excellent.
Genevieve,
That's a great connection to...
Genevieve, you want to play tomorrow night?
Sure. Mr. Reddy's talking about, that's the biggest nightmare for the criminal justice system, is to have someone wrongfully convicted.
Yeah.
And we've covered that.
I've always said, I'd rather let a guilty man go free than lock up an innocent person. I believe in that. When I was on the job, I ran the unit for 8 years. My unit, we knocked up 96 people in 8 years, which is a high amount of people to lock up. But I told the guys, unless we're 100% certain, do not lock this individual up. So, and we always believe in that. Okay, so my job is to find the origin of the fire first, right, and then find the cause. Right, so that's the nuts and bolts of my job. Find the origin. I walk in here, where did the fire start? All right? Hopefully you can narrow it down based on burn patterns, witness statements, information, maybe some video surveillance in the school. A lot of schools have that. That will really help me to determine the origin. And then once I narrow down my origin, what actually caused that fire. All right, so if I find an extension cord near where the fire may have started, I look at that cord. Can an extension cord cause a fire? Yeah, right, obviously it can cause a fire. Do we keep extension cords under our rugs?
No,
We do not.
we shouldn't.
Why should, yeah, I'm an A+ student. Why shouldn't we?
Because if it like sparks or something, then it'll catch the whole rug on fire.
What is perfect. What does an extension cord need? What does an extension cord do? What does it generate?
Electricity.
Okay, and then what does that electricity generate? Heat. So do we want to cover that cord with a rug? We're going to have fire. And you see it all, especially at Christmas time. Especially those zip cords. You know the cheap ones, they have the hard rubber plastic on the end. You can put like 2 or 3 items in, and it's really thin. That cord, I guarantee you, will cause a fire in your house if you don't keep an eye on it. And then the other, what's the biggest cause of fires in your house? Stove. Stove, right? Stove is first.
So,
What would be second? What would be the second biggest cause of something that generates heat?
the heaters and stuff.
Before that, something that generates heat. Something that keeps your clothes
Oh,
dry. Why does a dryer cause fires?
Oh,
Yeah,
lint. The lint thing. The strip off.
And then the lint. The lint is highly combustible. You better empty that dryer lint every time you use it, and then make sure your mom and dad, the vent hose, make sure they vacuum that vent hose out. You're gonna move your dryer. I probably have about 40 dryer fires a year. That's a lot of fires, all right? And usually, guys, how many go out of your house and turn your dryer on and leave? Do you love your dog? Do you love your brothers and sisters? Don't do that, right? Especially moms and dads, do not do that, please. You're gonna come home. You're gonna come home to a house full of ash. Okay.
Sean, can I ask you a question? The origin of fire, if you got to a fire scene and there was, the origin of the fire was in 2 different locations, does that automatically become suspicious?
Perfect. Great question, Mr. Clennon. Correct. If you got 2 separate fires, it's one of the indicators for possible incendiary and intentionally set fire. Correct. It's not lock, stock, and barrel, but it is one of the indicators that we were looking for. If I have a fire over there and a fire in that corner, I'm like, there's no connectivity between them two, so how do we get a fire? All right, so that's one of the things.
They used to ask us that as police officers. We would sometimes beat the fire trucks there.
Yeah.
In a landfill, when they took over a bunch of houses, they took over property. They were burning a house down 1 a week. So they asked if you got there, was there fire in 2 different areas? And you could feel the heat. You don't realize a fire, I'd be 150 feet away from the structure with a leather jacket on and had to back up because it was too hot.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay, so origin determination. One of the things I'm looking for in my origin is burn patterns. I'm going to show you a great burn pattern. Yes. I'm going to show you one of those too. Let's do this one first. There are 4 causes of a fire, right? So I already gave you your answer. There are 4 causes to a fire when I classify it. Right? Natural, incendiary, accidental, and there's your answer, the 4th. All right, you ready? So we're trying to figure out where this fire started. We're looking at burn patterns. I'm going to ask you where this fire, you're in this class, right?
Yeah.
Tell me where this fire started.
Oh, looks like
From the middle of the house?
second floor. Is there a 4th?
Guys, ladies, did it start here? Did it start here? Did it start over here? Did it start over here? Well, where did it start again? 2nd floor?
Yeah.
Here?
Right.
Why? What's telling you it started there? What do we call that? A burn pattern. Okay? In the old days, they still use it. It's a V pattern. All right? The V will bring you back. The base of the V will bring you back. So that definitely helps me, right? So am I going to go up here and look around on this floor for what caused the fire? Where am I going? 2nd floor, right? Good job. So you've already become fire investigator 101. All right, good. We've got burn patterns. You arrive at the scene, right? I know you got some volunteer fire departments. up here, right?
All of them.
You can help up here, you come up here, I say, firefighter, the fire started right there, he's probably gonna be mad you said it, but that's okay, listen, I took Mr. Reddy's class, I know what I'm doing, all right? So good job, all right. Again, now I go inside,
Where was that house, Sean?
this is, Linwood Avenue, I think it's Linwood. That was an intentionally set fire. Where'd the fire start? Come on, you guys are fire investigators now. Now we go inside the house. Again, you talked about patterns.
Oh.
Who said that? Good job, awesome, bro. It's not on the couch, right?
Not bad for a hockey player.
Look at that, guys, right? Brings it right back to the couch. See it? Went out the window. What's fire need? Right? Look at that. Look at the amount of oxygen. That's why he took off like he did. He set it right on the couch. Right? You got that nice pattern there. That's more of a U-shaped pattern. All right? So does that make sense to everybody? Destroyed the house. Right? There were people living in it at the time. All right? They never locked them up.
Was that the same house? Is that Linwood?
That's the same house. That's inside. That's just inside that second floor window you saw, guys. All right? I say the word guys. It doesn't. It's not offending house.
Can't see it.
Okay. So the same day we had the Linwood, the Silver Lake fire, the same exact day when that gentleman was smoking. Look what the fire department arrived to the same day. That's Providence College. I don't know if you remember that. If you Google that, it'll pop right up. That's what you can see. There's still no water there. The ladder truck is still in the bed. All right, they still haven't put it up yet. That's what they arrived to. Anyone want to take a guess where this was started? That's pretty easy, right? But that's good. You may not have known that before, right? So that's good, right? It started on the second floor porch. What I surmised happened is it was extremely windy. Is the wind blowing towards me or to your right? Right? So that helps me a lot. This house here, this is all college students. This floor here, big smokers. All right? What I surmise happened is he really admits he had been smoking early in the day on the porch. I say he flicked his cigarette. There was a couch here. Landed on the couch and it took off because I got a picture which I couldn't find, but you can see just the area where the couch is just burning initially. But again, it was so windy. And what does a cigarette need? Two things a cigarette needs. One is
Insulation and time.
good job. You got both. I didn't need lots. Good. Timing is late. Coach, you got a very good class here. Very good.
Don't tell him that.
All right. We'll keep it amongst us. All right? So, that's what I surmise happened. Did I find the cigarette butt? No. All right, so what would I classify this fire as? Would it be natural?
No.
Would it be incendiary?
Accidental?
Good. In my eyes, unless I'll never prove motive, I classify it as accidental. He could have done this. He may have done this and flicked it and said, I'm out of here. But that's a big roll of the dice that it's even going to work. All right, so.
Incendiary has to have a motive?
No, incendiary doesn't. No, but I don't know what I classify as arson. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great story. Suspect or witness, friend or foe. I don't know who I'm dealing with when I talk to these guys, right? Let me show you a quick video. Hopefully I can get back to all these. Genevieve, you'll have to help me if I can. Watch this video. Can you guys hear that? Not a big deal. Watch the gentleman walk behind the woman who lived on the first floor. Watch him walk behind her. They're going to interview the woman who lived on the first floor. Watch the guy walk behind the vehicle. There's me, my big bald head. Okay. Did you get the feel for that, guys? Okay. So, friend or foe? I'm gonna get back to where I was, kids. Oh, no, we're here. Suspect or witness? So did you see the gentleman walk by? So what happened was, the family, there's 5 of them, including 2 little kids, are sound asleep on the first floor. Somebody goes in in the house, goes up the back stairs, and burned the mattress on the 3rd floor. Like the fire takes the whole roof off the house, right? So when I get there, the fire suppressor's still going on. That gentleman you see walking by, he actually gives an interview to Channel 12 and tells them that the 3rd floor tenant set the house on fire. He's the owner, the gentleman who walked by in the video. He tells the media, oh yeah, I used to live there, I kicked him out, bad guy. Police harass him, they put him through the ring. They're talking to him. I still talk to the owner because I don't like the owner. What ended up happening is I got a video that same night. The owner parks his car down the street. The gentleman you saw walk by, parks the street, walks right by the camera, goes in the back of the house, goes up on the 3rd floor, sets the mattress on fire, walks back down and leaves. It's amazing that those people on the 1st floor, the 2 little kids, didn't get killed. Okay, we ended up locking him up. He got only like 5 years. I charged him federally because he actually filed an insurance claim. If you file an insurance claim, you send it through either mail or email. That's interstate commerce. You're going to get charged federally. The last people you want coming after you is the federal government, because they have so much resources. They have all your tax dollars. They're going to come at you like a freight train, and you're going to get arrested if they come after you. Right? So he ended up dying in jail. Thank goodness, he was a bad guy. He only got 5 years, but he ended up dying in jail. So I felt satisfied, even though we only got 5, that he no longer needed to exist on this earth in my eyes for what he did.
So if you charge federal, do they charge them state too? Or
No,
they
no,
don't?
we won.
Oh, just one, all right. I learned something today.
Friend or foe? There he is. He's on Julian Street. Is he my friend or is he my foe? He's on the phone. Listen. Remember this, no matter what you do in life, you'll get more satisfaction and you'll make people happier with this than you will with this. And Mike will tell you that as being in law enforcement. Okay? I never once threatened anybody when I was on the job, and I had a weapon, and I had 500 police officers at my back, the state police, I get deputized a federal agent, I had all the resources, I never once threatened anybody. I treated them with respect, I didn't care, even that gentleman there, I treated him with respect, okay? And if you do that, you'll get better satisfaction. When I was in the rescue unit for Providence, the guys would say, oh, we got a fight last night, 3 guys, they started fighting us. I was in there 6 months, I never raised my hand. I don't care who you were, I always treated you. You know, I didn't care if you had if you were a millionaire and you had 5 cents in your pocket. So remember that. You treat people like that, you'll get more out of that than you will, especially if you get into the law enforcement. Mike will tell you that. If you go up to somebody, hey, if I was going to start screaming, what are you going to do? Oh boy, this guy's great. I'm going to back off a little bit as opposed to, hey, listen, you know what I mean? What happened here? Were we home last night? And this, this guy's my best friend and telling me things I don't even want to know. Listen, get back. Tell me about the fire. That's really all I was concerned about. But I befriend them, all right? Oops, how was your trip? Good. Friend or foe? There he is. Okay, now if we back up, look what's hanging out of his pocket. Something white. Look what he's driving with. Look at his hand. He's no longer my friend. He's my foe. All right? We had a rash. See these vehicles? They were being stolen all over the city of Providence. I couldn't understand why they were being stolen. This guy was stealing them because it was easy to pop the ignition. Remember, your vehicle's not a transponder key. If that key's not with the vehicle, it's not starting. All right? So remember, make sure you have an account for your transponder keys. That's what your key is. It's got a chip in it. He was stealing these because they were easy to jump. All right? Then what he'd do, he'd go around, he'd set fires, and then he'd torch the vehicle. We had a rash of these Oldsmobiles would get torched all over the city of Providence. Sure enough, one night he goes to a place off of Silver Spring, goes in the back. This poor girl, she just got to work. I don't know why he did it. He goes in because I arrested him. He goes, breaks a window, torches her car, destroys 2 $500,000 tractor trailers and the whole side of the building. He was just a bad guy. He had something wrong with him. But he was a foe. I followed him on a Sunday, guys. I followed him on a Sunday. He was hanging out in front because I found his vehicle. I had no life. All I had was my wife and my dog. So I'd follow these guys if I knew they were, bad guys. I followed him and I sat there. He knew I was watching him. He came right at me with his vehicle. I'm driving. He comes right at me. I said, "Well, I'm driving an ATM vehicle. It was a beautiful Ford Explorer. So I don't want him to hit me." So I just kind of stopped. He came right at me and took off. But I got him. I locked him up. He didn't stand in that much. Okay. Expectation bias. Okay, now listen, the next picture is going to be a little graphic. It's not too bad. It's just a victim lying down. So if you're uncomfortable, you can just step outside. I'll let you know when I'm going to show. Expectation bias. What does that mean, expectation bias? Am I doing okay, Mike? Am I
We're
going
doing
through it?
good. Yep, we got 20, 30 minutes left.
Are you guys bored yet?
We're good.
Okay. Expectation bias. What is it?
It's a cognitive bias when you expect a certain thing to happen, and you have a preconceived
He's good.
of what would happen.
A preconceived notion. Give me an example of a preconceived notion. Give me something you have a preconceived notion that may or may not be true.
Like an assumption.
Yeah, give me an example. When you first saw me, what was your preconceived notion? Your first, when you saw me, you said, that guy is...
A firefighter.
You serious?
I thought you were like retired or something.
Okay, I am retired. No, but like that's something you don't know when you like who did I meet first? This young lady. My first preconceived notion that she was a freshman or a sophomore. She looks very young, and that's a no. Hey, Genevieve, when you get to be my age and someone tells you you look young, you're gonna give them a big kiss. All right, so take that as a compliment, right? Expectation bias, right? Nothing here. This is a nothing fire. I get on, no big deal, right? I get out of my vehicle. All right, again, this is the guy who's a serial killer and a serial arsonist. All right, so if you're uncomfortable, you want to get up or you want to turn your back. It's not that graphic. It's just he's face down. You're not going to see a lot.
Do you remember his name, Sean?
Which one?
The serial,
Yeah.
wasn't Wood Nancy.
No. This is more recent. No. This guy was from West Warwick originally. I can get it, Mike. It's in my folder. Okay? Right? No big deal. Okay? There is a body there. Okay? There is a body there. Okay? So what happened? I remember the body. Once it gets heated up, it's gonna split. All right, because of the gases in it. Again, this is the gentleman who went in to meet his friend. They had a disagreement over some money. He ends up. So, we get there, the police department all arrives because, hey, we got a body. The Providence police, the detectives all show up, they're dressed like Mr. Calendar, all dressed to the nines, they look sharp. They're looking in the door like, I'm not going in there, Sean. This means I'm covered in, everything but you can think of I'm covered in, right? Sean, what is this? Well, it's a victim. I haven't excavated this area. I gotta clean this before I tell them exactly what happened. They're not going in, but they trust me. They all leave. Oh, he must have been smoking. I said, well, I guess he could have been. Yes.
So as the person that sees how the fire happened, are you allowed to touch the body?
Okay, now the body I do not touch. Who's the only one who can touch the body?
The people.
Yeah, medical examiner. I don't touch the body. All right, because that medical examiner wants to see exactly what it was like. But I will remove all the debris from here. That's fire debris. So I will remove it. When I remove the fire debris, guys, what do you think I find? I'm dealing with a serial killer. From here to here is completely cut. Okay? So it took me a while to excavate that because it's a meticulous process and I got to videotape everything because why? I'm going to go to court and tell them what happened. And I did testify in this trial. Alright? So this is 2 hours later. I called the detective and says, Kenny, you better get back here. Why, Sean? I said, because his neck is cut from ear to ear. All of a sudden, it was like the cavalry came running. Like it was like police officers from all over Providence came running back to find out what happened. And the detective who did the homicide of this case did a great job. How they got him was his cell phone pinged from his mother's house. So I take that back. The cell phone that belonged to the victim, it was here. The next time it pinged was at the serial killer's mother's house, and that's how they got him. So remember, your cell phones, you can delete all the pictures you want. I'll see what's on your phones. So don't take an inappropriate picture and say, well, I'm not worried about it, I'm just going to delete it, because it's on your phone forever. So if you get arrested, the police will extract that data, it'll be on your phone. Right? So don't do anything stupid, kids.
Excuse me, Sean.
Yes.
What time's this class at?
45.
10:43? Okay, so we're good. We're good.
I'll get you done quick, kids.
We're good. Just want to make sure I have the right time.
Okay, because I want to show you two things. Let me show you what I do now. Washing machine fire. I don't know if I guess that's it. Where did this fire start?
Back to the washing machine?
Who said that? You're fired. Where did this fire start?
In it.
You're fired.
Inside of it.
You're fired.
On top of the subscribe.
Under.
You're fired.
Under.
Inside that top back.
Under what?
The open, like the inside of the under. Like,
You're fired. Genevieve, where to stop?
The vent thing.
The vent things. You're fired, Genevieve. Hey, I was wrong too. Right? There's nobody perfect in this world. I was wrong. All right? Let me show you where it stopped, right? Because that's the top of the machine. So I'm on the private side now. Why would this be an interest to the insurance company? We talked about it,
We just talked about product liability.
right?
oh.
Because it's a washing machine.
Correct. They want to, right? They're gonna listen. If you're gonna fire your house, they're gonna cut you a check. Here you go, Mrs. Smith. Here's your check. Not Genevieve. Not Angelica Smith. Here, Mrs. Smith. Here's your check. Right? Now we're gonna go after the washing machine manufacturer. I called the electrical engineer. I said meet me there on Saturday because you have to kind of back it up. And I'm not an electrical engineer. These guys graduated from WPI. I graduated from Brick with a sociology degree. So I'm not going to testify the electronical part of a washing machine. What happened was, that's the bottom of the machine. I know it's,
Called it.
okay, that's the bottom of the machine, right here. What happened was, remember your have you ever heard your washing machine vibrate?
Yeah.
There was a power cord to the dryer. So what do you think happened? We got a power cord, we got a vibrating washing machine. What do you think happened? We talked about the extension cord.
Oh, it heated up. No, it split it.
How?
Um,
She's pretty smart too,
Bounce
Bob.
up and down.
He's good.
it was like when it was moving back and forth, like it was probably on top of it, so then it was.
Bingo! Stop! You've been rehired. You were fired, but you're rehired. Correct. The machine got on top of the cord and impinged on the insulation. It arced, and it caused all this damage, kids. All that damage, and then does fire travel down or up? Why?
Because you have margin.
You can teach this class. I'm embarrassed to stand in front of you. All right, good job.
Why does it go up, Angela?
Heat rises.
Yeah. Right? The heated gases are lighter than air, so they're going to rise. All right? All right, now the star of the show is what you're here for, is you want to see track, all right?
Crime line.
Okay. Okay. What do you see there?
An irregular burn.
Who just said that? Should have put it up there, huh? Good job. All right? Everyone see that? It's a rug. It's an active case, so I can't talk about it. All right? But that's an irregular pattern, right? That's not normal. If you drop a match in this rug, it's not going to burn. If you drop a cigarette in this rug, it's not going to burn. Yes.
So maybe somebody set that to make it look like that fire was set like that?
Correct. So what would I use to help me determine if they've used something to set that fire?
The dog.
The rock star, right? Okay. So let me quickly show you about tracker. We'll put a demo on. Okay, he's a black lab. He's an English lab. That's why he has a big block head. All right. We're gonna let him walk around so you guys can see it. All right.
Hey, Chuck.
Okay, kids, come on. Come on. Okay, he's an English lad, all right? He's on a food reward only. That's the only time he eats when he's retired, so I do feed him out of a bowl. But for his first 6.5 years, Tracker never ate out of the dog bowl. He only ate out of my hand. He's a food reward dog. I know, it's bad for me. You know how slimy my hands get feeding this guy? All right? So, the reason they use English black lab because they're thirst for hunger. They're drive for hunger. If I put a 35-pound bag of dog food out, Tracker would eat the whole bag. He'd make himself sick, but he'd eat it. All right? Tracker wants to make me happy all the time. He's always looking for ways to make me happy. That's why they use labs. You have 5 million scent cells in your nose. You have 5 million, right? Tracker has 220 million, right? Scent discrimination. You know when your mom's cooking lasagna? Does anyone not like lasagna? If you don't like lasagna, get out of the class. Right? Tracker smells the gravy. You notice I said gravy, not sauce?
That's right.
Michael, gravy, the pasta, the cheese, the meat. Tracker smells them all separately, where we just smell the finished product. All right? So what we're going to do is, Tracker will be able to smell any kind of ignitable liquid. Give me an example of an ignitable liquid. Whoever that called you, shush. Young man, Genevieve's boyfriend.
What's up, homie?
Ignitable liquid.
Hey, guys.
Good job. Easy. Ignitable liquid. Something that enhances the growth of a fire that's liquid. Lighter fluid, outstanding. My friend next door with the Adidas on. I don't know what that is. Give me an example of ignitable liquid. We're going to use gas.
Kerosene.
Kerosene, good job. How about something paint?
Look at him go.
Not yell it out. Good job, brother. Good. Anything that will enhance the growth of a fire, the growth of a fire tracker will find. Tracker is trained on 50% gasoline. Because when you look at the medium petroleum distillates, gasoline at 50% is right in the middle. So we can find anything to the left of that and to the right. So we use gasoline. This is evaporated gas. So what I'll do is I'll fill this up with gas. I'll take the cap off. I'll just let it sit in my garage until 50% of it's gone. And that's how I train him. I love Tracker. He's my best friend besides my wife. So I do not do this anymore because he's retired. But the Tracker is like riding a bicycle. I used him Saturday at a fire in Warwick. Bingo, he hit on it right away. Okay, so they use some type of ignitable liquid. Does that mean it's ignitable liquid? Who confirms that's ignitable liquid? Tracker or the lab?
The lab.
I don't mean lab as in dog. I mean lab. All right. So what I'm going to do is, Genevieve, you want to take track? Genevieve, just take him out the hall. Hook him. You want to take him to the hall? Just for 2 minutes.
Hook him.
Bye, Track.
Fun tracker.
Oh, he's really heartbroken leaving us, huh, guys? Don't let the feeling you missed, Track. Okay. So, first I'll need one person who's willing to sacrifice their sneaker. Okay? So, we'll put 3 spots, all right? Somewhere where you can see him, right? So, we'll put one, how about we put one right in the leg of this sneaker, all right? Nope, come right in. Okay, so we'll put one on that leg so you guys can see that one. Where else can you guys all see? We'll put one maybe in the middle there. And then someone want to sacrifice a sneaker? You won't break a sneaker.
I will.
We'll see if he hurts on your sneaker. All right? So guys, we'll put one on this chair. On the leg of this chair. Please remember in case I don't.
You're just putting the gap.
Yeah, just the dab will do you. Who's sneaker?
You can do mine because I got it.
Okay, so do you mind just turning your chair? Oh yeah, just so somebody walks by you, he doesn't have to go underneath the desk. And I'm gonna put it on the rubber pad. It won't hurt your shoe. All right, it's not gonna hurt it. All right. Okay. Good enough? Yeah, you can sit comfortably. Then when he comes by, just have it ready up there. All right. So guys, $25,000 for Tracker. 5 months up in Maine. I spent with him 5 weeks up in Maine. He was born in Indiana. They shipped him to Maine. He was imprinted there. That means he was only allowed to eat when he rode on gasoline. So that's how they imprinted him. He was in Providence with me for 5 years. Now he's retired with me and he still works. But I don't do this anymore because it'll kill him. This stuff is, the carcinogenous is through the roof. So you don't want to be smelling this every day. So I want him to live forever. I know his life's going to be short. So I have food. Normally I have a pouch, but he doesn't even need it anymore. So this is the best dog food you can buy. It cost me a fortune, but he's worth every penny. And what I'll do is I'll just keep this in my pocket. I'm going to say, Tracker, you want to go to work? He's going to get excited. And then I'll say seat, and I'll throw out a seat. I can go around the room 3 times. After that, I'm not going to go around because he'll just alert on anything because he wants to eat. I'll tell him the seat. Remember, we got the trash can, the chair there, and that young lady's booth. All right, guys? We're good? Hopefully, Genevieve's in school. So what I'll do is I'll keep Tracker in my left hand. and I'll say seat with my right. He's always to my left, and we'll see how he does. All right, remember now, he's retired. He may miss. He may not get any of them. If he doesn't get one, he's gonna. If he misses one, if he doesn't get one, he's gonna walk home, and it's a 30-minute ride. So, hey, you wanna go to work? Hey, you wanna go to work? Yeah. Hey, come on. So we're just gonna go see. Let him have fun. See, come on. See, see.
Look at him go.
Okay, so now guys, there's a little draft in here, so it's a scent cone. So the wind was blowing it that way, so that's why he got a little premature, okay? But he knows it's right there, so that's what he does, he alerts. And then we load him up right now. Good boy.
What a good boy. We love you.
He knows it. Okay. So we'll spin him around. Come on, see? Come on, see? Notice his nose, guys, see? Come on, see? Oh, there's something in the bag. Oh, this is an alcohol-based product in there? Sanitizer? Okay, good. Come on. Come on. Good boy, Jack. Good boy. Come on. Hey, come on. Come on, see? Come on, see? Come on, see? Hear him exchanging his exchanges, guys? Good. See? Come on, see? Ooh, okay. Come on, see? So we'll go a little more detail. Maybe he missed it, right? Come on, see? Hey, see? Come on, hey, no, leave, come on, hey, see?
Oh, he knows.
Good boy.
Oh,
So,
he got it down.
he missed it the first time again. We're allowed to go 3 times, right? Good boy. He's not happy I haven't already got my food out.
He sits.
That's his alert. That's his alert. I know he means business. Now the true test will be that shoe. Good boy. Good boy. You are a good dog. I don't like him eating off the floor, so I always make him eat out of my hands. Good boy. Excellent. Got it? Come on. Hey, come on. See? We'll spin him around. Good boy. Come on. Come on. See? See? Come on. I'm getting dizzy, guys. Come on. See? Come on. See? Hey, come on. See? Come on. See? See? Good boy. Good boy, Tracky. So he hasn't eaten all day, so we're going to give him a nice big treat here. Good boy, Tracky. Good boy. You are a good boy. You are a good boy. You are a good boy. Good boy, buddy.
Now, Sean, do all labs have 220 million scent cells, or is that him?
Yes, that's what. Yes, the lab is known for its large amount of scent cells. That's why they use that. Like I have a golden retriever at home. She has 0 interest in this. No interest in working. No interest in pleasing me. She just wants to have fun. So they don't use golden retriever. Plus, she's now blind. So, I think. How much time we have, Mike? I think that's good, guys. You've had enough, right?
10 minutes? Well, we can,
Yeah, so let's do this. Do you guys have questions for me now with regards to a career in this? Or something you said, Mr. Reddy, what happens there? What it's like to testify? What it's like to take someone's freedom away? What it's like to make a mistake and lock somebody up and realize you locked up the wrong guy? Anything you want to know, I'll tell you. Yes, you first.
So at what point, time-wise, can you enter a scene after fire?
So, what time can I enter the scene? I like to get in there right away. As soon as the guys have, the ladies have the fire, I want to get in right away before any more damage is done to the fire scene. So, as soon as I can, on the public side. The private side, I may not get there for a week because the insurance company filed a claim and they call me, so it could be a week. So I've been at fire scene that's been there 3 weeks before they call. Ideally, the sooner the better. Yes.
How long do you have to go to school to get firefighter?
So firefighters, there's the minimum education is high school, and then there's practical exams you take, but that's it. And then in Providence, they train you. You go through the academy. Some of the other communities, I think you have to go to EMT school and other resources like that first. In Providence, they train you first. Okay. Yeah. Is he behaving there, guys?
well, there might be food in the car.
Yeah, there's food in there, he'll find it. Come on, Trent, let's go for a ride. Come on, hop.
Hey, you notice Mr. Calendar's getting worried. It's his food.
If there's food in there, it's gone.
It's Mr. Calendar's food. That's why he wants the dog out.
Yeah, if it's in there, it's gone. Hey, Gilbert, get your ball.
Did you get your tuna sandwich?
Did you get it, Mike?
Well, my food is in the refrigerator.
Oh, thank God, Mike, because it'll be gone.
Yeah, it was,
No. Anything else? Yes.
Where did you go to school?
So what happened was, they sent me, so I just have a sociology degree from Rhode College, so it's a useless degree. I just got lucky, I happened to get out of the fire department. So what ended up happening is, once I graduated from the police academy, I went to school for the next 5 years. They sent me all over the country to go to school between ATF and the city of Providence. I was mostly in New York and the fire academy. So what happened is,
The other door.
so guys, I got a quick story for you. So what happened was, I'm in my office one day, I'm investigating a fire that involved some gang activity. Someone knocks on my door, open the door, it's the FBI. They said, Mr. Reddy, can we talk to you? I'm like, well, I pay my taxes, I go to church, I don't drink, once in a while I slip and swear once in a while. What do they want? They wanted to know the fire I was investigating, and I told them what I was doing. The next day, ATF came to my door and said, Sean, we'd like to deputize you. So what had happened was, they swore me in as a federal agent. I get everything they had except for the money. I had unlimited overtime. They gave me multiple vehicles. I changed my vehicle once a week. I had anything I wanted, they would give me. So I ended up becoming a federal agent. That's why I was able to charge people on the federal side. So, anything else, guys, ladies? Last question. How many times do you get to make a first impression?
Once.
Once. What was your first impression of Mr. Reddy? Was I prepared?
Yes.
Did I have a cup of coffee in my hand?
No.
Did I have a newspaper in my hand?
No.
Did I shave?
Yes.
Did I comb my hair?
No.
Right? Did I iron my shirt?
Yes.
Okay? So remember that when you go in the job interview, one of my former players got a big job. She said, Mr. Reddy, you know why I received the job? She said, the person who hired her said, you're the first person I've interviewed who maintained eye contact with me the whole time I was speaking to you.
For our oral presentations, you hear that? Eye contact.
Okay? All right. Listen, you guys lost. I've done this a gazillion times, and I haven't met a smarter group. I'm serious. You guys were very engaged. My man in the red, I got him engaged. He was starting to doze off. I asked him a couple of questions, and I hooked him back up. You guys are great, and I appreciate your time and efforts. And if you ever need if you want to do an internship, if there's something you want to do, I can get you an internship with the Rhode State Fire Marshal's office. If it's something you're interested in, you want to get into forensics and stuff like that, all those guys are my friends. I'll get you a summer internship. It probably doesn't pay, but you'll learn a ton, and it'll open up windows for you. Even if you don't decide to get into that field, they look, you work for the Rhode State Fire Marshal's office, you're going to kind of write your own ticket. Okay?
I wanted to tell you a story, my fire story.
I love fire stories.
I was a policeman, and it was a occupied house. And I said, this is my moment. I'm going to run in the house. I'm going to grab people. I'm going to save them. It says, you read.
Yeah.
I went through the front door, and within 15 seconds, I was overcome by smoke. And it got completely black.
Yeah.
And I dropped to the floor. And the only way I got out of the house was, I remembered when I first went in, there was a set of stairs. And I felt myself to the stairs and was able to get out.
Well, thank God, Mike, right?
The point is, I asked the fireman, I said, how do you guys find your way out of the fire? And they said, well, we have a hose.
Yeah.
Don't ever let go of that hose. But fires can be very, I take fire drills very seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
That there should be no talking, because you have to give directions if there is a fire.
Yeah. We can replace anything that burns except for you guys. So get out of the house, let it burn to the ground, because in Foster it's going to burn to the ground, because you don't have a paid fire department like Providence does. But we're going to replace everything. We can't replace you guys, so get out. All right? Don't worry about the fire.
I have Mr. Reddy's email. If you come up with a question, I can email him. I will say this. He's extremely knowledgeable. He's an expert in the arson and fire investigators. It was awesome for him. Takes time out of his day to come here.
Give me a day off, Coach.
We will have a reaction paper due, just like we did for Alex Snow. There'll be a reaction paper due.
I'll send my quiz. I usually have a quiz. I'll send it to you tonight. Michael.
Yes.
Take it tomorrow.
Excellent.
Awesome. Genevieve, I'll give you the answers.
No.
Yes.
At the beginning, you said that you had like a story for us.
Okay. You have time?
Yeah, we got time.
2 minutes. I told the kids on my team this to just ask me questions. So listen, I have a big fire on Dexter Street. Stay focused. I know it's not easy. Oh, that's a nice lacrosse ball. Does anyone play lacrosse here? I can get you a bucket full of brand new balls so lacrosse team, Mike. I have unlimited access to the ball.
Oh, we'll try them.
So guys, what happened was a huge fire on Dexter Street in the city of Providence. My partner and I are driving by, we find it. The place is raw, just like that one at Providence College. 2 days later, I secure a video. I see this young man walking right to the front of the house. But the camera stopped just before the front door, so I don't see him go in. On the other side of this camera shows a gentleman in a green Honda leaving at the same time. The gentleman who was going to the front door, he leaves 2 minutes later, and it shows him walking, and it shows him doing this. He's looking at the house as it's burning. I put a news media alert on Channel 10. If anyone knows this gentleman, please contact the Arson Squad. I get a phone call, hey, that's Ron Smith. I go find Ron Smith. He admits he's there. He admits everything. He says, Sean, I never went in the house. I didn't believe him. He had a long criminal record. I locked him up. I called the Attorney General's office. They said, absolutely, you can lock him up. I put him in jail. He was in jail for 30 days. Remember the car I saw, the vehicle I saw on the other side of the street on the video? I'm at a red light at Dexter and Cranston Street. I see the green Honda. I pull the guy over. I start talking. I introduce myself. Right, you get more with your mouth than you do your fist. He says, yeah, I'll take a ride with you. He parks his car. He jumps in my vehicle. I take him down to my office. I interview him for 2 hours. At the end of 2 hours, you know what he said to me? I went in that house and I burned it down, Mr. Reddy. I burned that house down. My first thought was, oh my God, I locked up the wrong guy. I called Bill Furlong, U.S. Attorney's Office. Bill, I made a huge mistake. He goes, let me get this straight. You locked up the wrong guy, but you still worked the case? He goes, you should be rewarded for that. I got the guy out of jail the next day. I locked up the other guy who actually did it. 6 weeks later, that gentleman we locked up sees my partner at the Providence Place Mall, Paul Downey. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Downey, right? This guy locked up is like 3 inches bigger than me. He's all muscle. He walks up to my partner. He goes, I want to thank you and Sean for not giving up on me. I thought for sure if you walk up to my partner and say, hey, give this to Sean. Punch him in the face.
Wasn't Downey the president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was a mistake on my part, but I admitted my mistake. And so, Genevieve, did you have a question?
I was going to remind you of the story.
Yeah, that was my story, okay? So it happens, right? He lost his life, he lost his freedom for 30 days, but he was thankful, and so was I. Stuff happens. I don't care if you throw it, trackers chasing all day long. All right, thanks again, guys. Mike, I can leave this with you if you want that power. I'll tell you. You put on my phone.
I want the photo.
Mr. Cook, can you ask